I remember the day like it was yesterday. My son called, voice warm, telling me he'd finally shown his mother a picture of the woman he'd been seeing. I expected him to say she loved her. Instead, there was a pause, a long, heavy pause. Before I tell you how he turned her own schemes into her public humiliation, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your name and location in the comments so I can give you a shout out in the next story. Today's shout out goes to Harold in San Diego. Thanks for being here, Harold. She stared at the photo for a while, he said. And then, she asked what exactly she was. I didn't like the sound of that. When he told her my future daughter-in-law was Cindy, the smile, whatever smile she had, was gone. I won't repeat the words she used, but they were ugly enough to sour the air between us for good. She decided, right then, that my son was making the biggest mistake of his life. It started with whispers. She called my daughter-in-law a gold digger one day, a scam artist the next. Every time she crossed the line, my son enforced a timeout. But each timeout seemed to make her more creative in her malice. And I had no idea. She was just getting started. When open warfare didn't work, she switched to the shadows. At first, it was little things, slipping negative stories about Sinti people into conversation, always with a fake, I'm just concerned tone. We were seeing her maybe twice a year, so her opportunities were limited. Then she pulled a stunt I still can't quite believe. She created 2 fake Facebook accounts, one pretending to be my son's ex, the other pretending to be my daughter-in-law. She spent months sending fake messages back and forth, crafting a story of an affair. It was a smart play almost. She even documented how my son supposedly took the ex on a 4-day business trip and slept with her every night. Only one problem. That trip never happened. A week before, his work canceled it. Instead, he and his fiancée spent those exact days together, 24/7. She had the best possible alibi. When my daughter-in-law saw the screenshots, she was ready to walk, until my son showed her the date stamps. Then the two of them turned, in unison, on the architect of the lie. 9 more months of timeout. And this time, the clock would not be reset. By the time they got engaged, I thought maybe she'd learned her lesson. I was wrong. The first real blow came when she was asked for the family address list for invitations. She deliberately gave fake addresses, hoping the cards would bounce back too late to resend. They caught it in a week and quietly got the right list from someone else. No confrontation, just a mental note. Then she tried canceling the flowers. The florist happened to know my daughter-in-law and called to confirm before pulling the plug. That's when my son locked down every single wedding vendor with passwords. Good thing, too, because she tried to change the venue, swap the menu from vegetarian to all meat, and even cancel the booking entirely. Every move blocked, every attempt logged. The final straw? My son's brother, who'd been playing along as her confidant, learned the women in her family planned to come dressed in black. Mourning clothes. To signal this marriage was a tragedy. That was 4 months before the wedding. Plenty of time to prepare something they'd never forget. The church was packed. Guests murmured, checking watches when an usher announced the wedding party would be about half an hour late. To pass the time, they said, a short film would be shown. The screen lit up, and for the first minute or two, it seemed like a behind-the-scenes wedding montage, until the tone shifted. The florist came on first, explaining how someone had tried to cancel every floral order, even leaving a fake voicemail pretending to be the bride. Anyone who knew the Emile's voice could tell. Then the caterer described repeated calls trying to change the menu. Finally, the real knockout punch, video and audio from the groom's brother's computer, secretly recording Emile's late-night Skype rants. There she was, in full color and crystal sound, trash-talking the bride's heritage, calling her names, and spinning lies to anyone who'd listen. The gasps from her own family were deafening. She leapt from her seat, shrieking, and tried to storm the screen. But 3 ushers intercepted her, guiding her back with calm force. By the time she sat down, The room had gone ice cold. No one was laughing anymore. When the last clip faded, the bride's father rose from the front pew. His voice was steady, almost gentle. Our daughter tried for years to build a bridge to this side of the family. He began, scanning the groom's relatives. But every attempt was met with insults, sabotage, or silence. This, he gestured to the screen, was only part of it. A ripple of shame seemed to pass through the room. That's why, he continued, there will be no wedding here today. The real wedding happened last week, at a location you were never told, surrounded by people who love and respect them. They are on their honeymoon as we speak. The groom's family sat frozen. Some stared at the floor. Others glared at Emil, whose face was the color of spoiled milk. You will have no contact with them for 1 year, the father said. And any attempt to break that rule restarts the year from zero. Decide if your pride is worth losing them forever. Silence filled the church. Not the reverent kind, but the heavy kind that follows a public execution. This wasn't a wedding anymore. It was a reckoning. If you enjoyed this story, give it a like, subscribe for more true tales of betrayal and justice, and share it with someone who'd appreciate a well-earned revenge. Drop your name and location in the comments. I might be giving you a shout out in our next story.